Hello and welcome to Garden of Luma, where I provide you with tips for growing edibles in hot climates. Hello everybody, Joe here with Garden of Luma. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about some of the challenges with growing fruit trees in containers. If you guys are new to this channel, please subscribe to stay updated on the latest videos. So let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges growing fruit trees in containers. So I do about 50-50 with both in-ground and growing in containers. And some of the reasons I grow fruit trees in containers is because of our weather conditions. So we get cold snaps, so we get light frost. And with growing tropical fruit trees, they do not like cold, they do not like frost at all. It can kill those trees. So growing in containers gives you the opportunity to move those trees around and do some different things. Also, it helps with, space in your yard. If you have a smaller yard and things like that, you can plant a few more things when you're growing in containers. So I'm going to take you guys out here in the backyard and show you guys and talk a little bit more about some of the challenges you may face growing fruit trees in containers and how you can manage those challenges. So let's go take a look. Okay, so here is my soursop and sugar apple tree that I've just moved to the patio. And one of the major problems that I have with growing fruit trees in containers, especially as they get larger, is our winds. So here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I'm growing zone 9B, we face a lot of challenges with the climate here. The extreme heat, dry heat that we have here in the desert, and then we have cold snaps in the winter. So it's a challenge for tropicals and subtropicals when we hit those, high 20s, low 30s on occasion that we get here in the desert. But one of the biggest challenges for me in containers is our high winds. We have monsoon winds. It's been really gusty last night and this morning. So these trees I found this morning laying on the ground, which I have found multiple times throughout the year with these trees. And so as you can see right now, they aren't growing upright as much anymore because of the winds. So they're leaning, they're falling over. They've severed a lot of the roots from falling on the ground, broken limbs and different things. You can see my sugar apple is really kind of bent over there. And so that is one of the major problems you'll face growing in containers. What you can do is either, if you have the space, you can hear the wind now kicking up. If you have the space, you could actually dig holes and drop your containers down into the holes, and that can help you. You could build wooden frames, a box around these containers to help prevent them from tipping over. Another tip is to keep them well watered, because as they dry out, these containers get a lot lighter when they're dry. So when you keep them moist, they're heavier, so it helps a bit with keeping them upright. But as they dry out, they get light, and then they get top heavy and blow over really easily. So those are a few things you can try to combat the wind. I do stake these. You can see some rope here that I have, but it's a lot harder to stake the trees in containers, especially when you're wanting to move them around and things. Now we're moving into winter, so these need to be a little more sheltered and stuff. So it's harder to keep these staked. Trees in the ground, you don't have to move. You can stake them once and just leave them there. But trees in containers, you're moving around a lot and doing different things. Alright, so let me show you some other things here with containers. Okay, so here's my Kerry mango. It's in a large 25-gallon container. So another challenge you're going to face with container growing is when you go to move these larger trees in containers, this can be back-breaking. I have a bad back, and I dread winter moving these containers around. And so that's why you saw the sugar apple and soursop, which are trees that I have to move more frequently because of the cold, in a little bit smaller containers than they probably should be. Those are in 15-gallon containers, and they really should be in 25 up. with the size of the trees that you saw. Like this Kerry mango here is in a larger container, and it's really difficult to move these containers as they get larger. They get really heavy. And so as you can see underneath it, I have a dolly. So you'll want something like that to help you move these trees around, especially in the winter when you need to protect them. Or putting them on wheels can help if you have more concrete in your yard or more of a level yard. It's harder for me in my yard because I don't have that. But wheels can help on the base of your planters. Another thing I'll show you real quick that has helped is planting in square or rectangular containers has helped me as well. But here's my Atemoya. You can see that's leaning as well from the wind. But these boxy type containers makes it easier to move around with the dolly to get underneath it. And they don't shift as much when you're moving it like the round containers do, because they lay more flat up against the dolly. So these can help with when you have to move them around in the yard and things. Lastly, I want to talk about a big challenge is watering these fruit trees in containers. Obviously, they're going to need to be watered a lot more frequently in the summer months as they dry out quickly. And so you can see here, I have drip lines set up. If you can keep these more on the moist side throughout the summer months, it's going to help a lot. So these slow drip can help you with keeping the containers moist throughout the summer months because it's more of a slow watering method, and then you can water frequently on a timer and keep these trees happy and keep them from drying out. Lastly, as you can see wrapped around my Barbados cherry here is I use this kitchen liner here. It's just a white liner that is adhesive on one side, and I wrap my black pots in that because the sun here, especially in the Arizona desert where we get well over 100 consistently throughout the summer months, can really fry these black pots and the roots in these trees. So I use this white liner to protect from that heat, deflect some of that sun off the containers in the summer months. And then I remove those in the winter when I want it to be warmer to allow for the sun to kind of keep those roots a little bit warmer as they go into the nighttime cooler temps. So those are a few different challenges and tips to combat those challenges when you're growing fruit trees in containers. Check me out at gardenofluma.com for more tips on growing edibles in hot, dry climates. Thanks for watching.